Just when will you be at your peak when it comes to sprinting and jumping? Let's look at peak years for long jump and triple jump. The majority of the world's best triple jumpers are in their mid to late 20s. Yes, of course, there's going to be outliers such as Jaden Hibbert, and it is possible to jump huge distances at a younger age. In fact, research indicates that often of all the track and field events, it's the jumps where there are more outstanding performances at a young age. Obviously, you've got Falani of Italy jumping prodigious distances as an under 20 athlete and indeed an under 17. However, for the majority of people, it takes time to mature into the event. Unless you do have a prodigious natural talent, you've got to work on the talent that you have got, and that can take many years. However, what it all boils down to is the coming together of all the factors that are going to enable you to maximize your talent in your later years. So you need to have the right training environment, the right work set up so that you can train, and you need to have the right coach and training group and facilities. And of course, you need the motivation and the finances, unless you're a pro athlete, to train. I always say to my young athletes that it's a developmental journey. Invariably, you're not going to jump as far as you can at 15, 16, 17, 18 as you will at 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 and 28. So you've got to train to wait for that particular age range. Now, of course, it depends on all those factors that I mentioned earlier, but particularly on doing the correct training, the training that's right for you and your body type. The way I train young athletes seems to bring about very positive adaptations, and many of them jump good distances at the age of 16 to 20. So 786, we've had in the past also 770, 750s and 740s by 17-year-olds, for example, on the male side, and 6 metre jumping from females when they're 17 and 18 years of age, for example. So if you get off to the right start, then you're going to be ahead of the starting line. And I think that's something that many athletes don't realise. They jump well, perhaps as a collegiate athlete or at university in the UK, but chances are, if they continued after college, the further distances will come. One of the greatest exemplars in this respect is Jonathan Edwards, the current world triple jump record holder, who, after graduating college, only had a best of 16 metres 01, but of course he went on to beat the world record and jumped the furthest distance ever with wind assistance 1843 and 1829 respectively. Indeed, Edwards' best years as a triple jumper were in his late 20s and early 30s. He broke the world record in Gothenburg when he was 29, for example. At the Sydney Olympics, when I believe he was 34 years of age, he jumped 17 metres 71. And a year later, at 35, at the Edmonton World Championships, he went out to 17 metres 92. So that just shows you that your peak years can be from your mid to late 20s and well into your 30s. So it's all about playing the long game and getting into the right environment mentally and physically that will enable you to maximise your potential. Incidentally, the information that I was providing on the triple jump was coming from this particular book, and Jonathan Edwards in particular. This tells a story of the triple jump from its origins at the Olympics all the way through to the current era, and there are chapters on all the great jumpers. It's a really great read. It can take you a lot of time to find the training that works for you, although, as I said earlier, you really don't want to be on the wrong track from an early age. But in Edwards' case, it was very much a case of coming across the right coaches and the right training that was going to work for him and the right technique. Out of interest, he modelled himself on Mike Conley and started to use a double arm action, and that began to get his trademark skipping stone movement across the track with the huge velocities and the seemingly non-slowing between the phases. I've coached a number of athletes who've jumped well in their late 20s and early 30s, Paul being the obvious example from my current group, who's now 35, and from the age of 26 onwards, virtually every season he's jumped beyond 7 metres 50. Now, he is very conscientious when it comes to his training, making sure that he attends the right number of training sessions a week but doesn't overdo it. If you've been training regularly from a young age, then when you get to your mid to late 20s, it's all about being very clever and using a less is more approach. really honing down on the exercises, drills and training sessions that you need to do which are going to produce the results. Some say as you get older you need to do more volume, more training. I disagree. You'll have had 15 years potentially or more of training behind you, and that can be easily hung onto and just utilised sparingly in terms of additional sessions. So you'll have the strength, you'll have the power, you'll have the technique, all being well. So what we need to do is turn that up to the higher level with lots of rest and recovery and very specific training in order to produce the optimized performance at a later age. If you have any specific questions on the subject matter of this particular video, or indeed any of my others, then do leave a comment in the section below or through my other social media. Do of course like and subscribe. And on that subject, I know that many of you, over 60%, don't actually subscribe to the channel, yet you regularly watch my videos. So it doesn't cost you anything. Please do subscribe. And good luck of course with your training and any competitions that you may still have coming up.